what this, how this impacts the electronic structure. And this is actually quite an interesting material in itself. So my former postdoc, Masaki, when he went back to Japan, he actually discovered that iridium-02, the sign of the Hall coefficient can be switched by what direction you put the field in. So if you put the field along 100, it's a positive Hall coefficient. If you put it along the 001, it's negative. So you can kind of switch carriers from electron to hole just by switching the direction of the field, which is pretty cool. And then also Hide Takagi's group shows this material has a very spin Hall resistivity, so it might be interesting from a spintronic standpoint. And so so I'm not going to go over time, so basically I'll just kind of make a little advertisement here. So if you're interested in this, please go talk to Jason. So this is Jason right here. And so Jason's making iridium-02 TiO2 superlattices. So he's been able to try to do quantum confinement in a couple different ways. So one is to make these superlattices where you're blocking the iridium-02, which is a metal, with an insulating rutile TiO2 blocking layer. And the other is to make quantum well structures where you're making sort of atomically thin iridium-02, okay? And so one very kind of interesting thing that we've seen here is that you make this very, very thin iridium-02, you do photo emission, the 20 monolayers is bulk, like you see these bands here. When you get to the sort of, the atomically thin limit, 10 monolayers, 8 monolayers, 4 monolayers, you, I think, can very clearly see these sub-bands start to form. These sub-bands are due to quantum confinement in the C direction, okay, in out-of-plane direction. So basically, this has been well studied in sort of regular metal films. It's kind of particle in a box, right? So you do a hard boundary here and a boundary in the vacuum, and you're generating these little particle in the box states. And then we can see basically how this tracks, how as you empty out these different bands, how the magnetotransport might change. So that's sort of one thing we're quite interested in. And so, you can go about, Jason has a poster, you can like that. Okay, so I'm going to end more or less. So I think this epitaxial stabilization that we've been able to do in thin films allows us to explore a large range of materials that are generally not available in bulk. I showed how a lot of the single particle excitations in the parent insulating puridates are very, very similar to cuprates. So this analogy to high TC in the cuprates is somehow I think very intriguing. And then I showed in sort of the semi-metallic strontium iridium-03 the importance of these octahedral rotations that are not in the 001 direction, but also along all three directions. With that, thanks to the people that supported this work. So again, Yu Feng was in charge of the strontium iridium-03 project. Phil was working on the bilayer and single-layer strontium iridate, Masaki on the barium iridate, and Jason was last a little bit on the iridium-02 dimension. So thanks for your attention.
Okay, thanks, Kai. Questions?
You've done rutinates before, you didn't talk about that, but in view of these structural rotations and so on, can you compare the same thing with strontium, barium?
Yeah, we've actually, we haven't, well, we're actually in the midst of doing calcium. We've done some work on...
these would be D4, right?
These are D4. The barium is a metal, and so this is some work that we are kind of in the process of finishing off. So this is strontium ruthenate 214, and so one thing that I think was discussed earlier is that 214 is has this I4MM structure in bulk. But then on the surface, there's this root 2 by root 2 rotation, the sigma 3 photon on the surface of Ward Plummer and also up at Stanford way back just down. So that results in this sort of these folded copies of the Fermi surface. The actual zone is like this. But actually, when you go to barium ruthenate, actually barium is a much larger cation, so you find that actually this sigma 3 phonon is kind of no longer frozen on the surface, and you don't see any reconstruction. So that's sort of using the size of the cation. Calcium is small, barium is large. You can basically play with the rotation patterns, and so we're doing also calcium ruthenate 214 and calcium ruthenate 113. And barium ruthenate 113 to basically see what the role of the octahedral rotations is by
I guess I can't resist just mentioning a couple of things for example. Went along so that we have something to talk about at the end. We're not weak. So we had a lot of nice talks about biofermions. Beautiful. I'm amazed at the progress in the past year or two. And once again, from the theoretical point of view,
no evidence, no evidence except that the bulk magnetic correlations are associated with these wave vectors. So, of course, now things get truncated at the surface and everything is quite different. But it's basically an idea that if you were to prevent this material from forming the insulating state, let's say with magnetic field or with pressure, then I would sort of expect these to condense out. Okay, so maybe that's what happens. So the data is represented in the bulk. Yeah, only the bulk.
I want to find out more about the pulse. What is the gapless fermionic excitation of the bulk or seeding from the bulk that we find?
I'm not sure I want to venture very much into that area. The only, this is really very, very exciting, and I think there's going to be a talk by next Friday, actually, where we'll have the Hudson output measurement, and probably this topic will come up more. I have to say that personally, let's say prior to the Hudson output results, we had not really paid so much attention to the specific heat, and it really seemed that the bulk was a pretty good insulator. And so when this comes out, we begin to look for features that could be connected to that. And personally, I think we want to do some more neutron work at low energy. We had really focused on the high energy stuff, but this is really exciting. It might be some form of charge neutral excitation that's really good.
Short question. You showed the heliosity data, and there was the interpretation that J5 half. J5 half is algebra. So, what's the part of the ground state? So, it's better deciding to have a transition from 0 to 1.
Oh, sorry, the electric data. Well, so
I was wondering what that temperature is.
Well, the thing is that this is supposed to be a mixed valence system with some sort of a synchronization of 5 forces.
Already. Soon after thinking about LS, I was looking through my directories, and those of you who remember Unix, they're still using the command line. They type LS every so often. I was looking to see what I might have